Hey guys, it's Dustin.
And Burton.
We took last week off YouTube just so we could get our life in order, and now we are back and better than ever.
That's right. Last week we told you guys that we were going to do a Q&A this week. A lot of you sent in some questions, so let's hop right in.
Yeah. So before we get into the Q&A, I do want to take a moment and recognize that this month is Mental Health Awareness Month. And I know that a lot of you, including us, have felt an overwhelming amount of anxiety, especially over the last year dealing with COVID.
That's right. There have been nearly 150 million cases of COVID worldwide, not to mention there's been over 3 million deaths, which is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
That stress on top of so many other factors can be really overwhelming to people. In the last year or so since COVID, mental health struggles have really skyrocketed, and symptoms of depressions are 3 times higher than before the pandemic.
And youth mental health is up by 10%. And I find that it's really hard, that very first step when dealing with mental health issues is really kind of speaking out and saying that you need help. Often the hardest thing to do is that first phone call, or seeking help with a hotline or a therapist, or any of those resources that are out there. Hey. What we need to realize is that you're not alone. There are lots of us that are dealing with that, including Burton and I. We have struggled in our lives with depression and anxiety.
Absolutely. I personally have felt a lot of anxiety over the last year, but I think, it's getting a little better right now, because now that we're both vaccinated and I feel like we're kind of climbing out of this, society's climbing out of it, it just it feels like a little weight has been lifted off, and I'm sure some of you are feeling the same.
Yeah. I too have felt a lot of anxiety over the last year. COVID affected my career. It really kind of pushed us into these little bubbles where we were isolated with just, a few people. Some of you probably felt even more alone if you're single. And so that's really troubling when you're dealing with anxiety. It's so key to find those people that you can trust and share this with.
So I know firsthand, and I know you do too, that when you have depression and anxiety, it can be extremely crippling. So it's really important that you focus on diet and exercise and meditation, and all these things combined can really help you pull yourself out of that dark place.
It's true. I feel like every time I work out, it's less about my physical results when it comes to toning, and it's really for my mental sanity, because it really is the break that I need just to kind of connect with myself and feel good about myself on a mental level.
We think it's really important to talk about these things because some of you may be looking at our curated Instagram or our edited YouTube and think, geez, these guys have got it together, which is further from the truth.
Yeah. When we announced that we were going to do a Q&A with you guys, one of the most asked questions was, do you and Burton fight? And also, do our kids have tantrums? Because it looks like they never do, or they are always perfectly, like perfect little angels. The answer is yes. Burton and I do fight. We are human. We have disagreements, and our children have tantrums on the daily. A lot of times we don't put those moments on camera because in those moments we want to be present and talk through those moments with each other or with our kids and try to celebrate the highlights of our lives, which makes everything worth doing and living for. But that's why we kind of cut those out. But we do feel like it's important to share with you guys that we are just like everyone else, and we do have our disagreements.
But that's why we think it's important to share with you that we all have big ups and downs, and social media is a very powerful tool that can highlight all these perfect moments without showcasing all the challenging moments.
Yes, you never know what's really going on in people's lives, right? So that's a perfect segue into our Q&A because we want you guys to get to know us a little better.
Absolutely. So before we get into the Q&A, please check out the resources in our description, and let's hop right in.
Yeah. All right, question number 1.
All
do
right.
you have siblings?
That's easy. Yes, we do. You guys know Uncle Cha-Cha? That
Yeah,
you
my
see
brother,
lots
Uncle
of...
Cha-Cha.
That's right. Okay. And I have a sister out in Houston, Texas. We both have older siblings. So there you go. Have you guys ever been to Germany?
I have not.
Me either.
So how did you come up with the kids' names?
Oh my God. Like literally we had a whiteboard in the house.
We did.
Not just a whiteboard. I'm talking about a rolling whiteboard.
It was like a billboard.
The size of this back wall. Listed out family names. We Googled names. We asked friends and family. By the way, never asked.
Never do that.
Never asked friends and family.
Yeah.
Because everybody has an opinion.
Yeah. And then when you share what you think you're going to name your children, then they shoot you down. And then you are like thinking about, well, should I not name my child that? Don't tell people.
Yep.
If you're going to name your child something, just keep it to yourself. That's the name for you.
True story. The first nanny we ever interviewed came in and we were going through the normal questions. She was asking questions, we were asking questions. And this is before the babies were born. And she said, what are you going to name the babies? And we were like, we didn't want to answer the question at first. And she kept going on and on until we finally answered and said it was Stone and Holland. And she said, no.
She said, you can't name
You can't name your kids that.
And we were like, you need to get out of our house.
Yeah.
You didn't get the job. Honestly, Burton named both of them. And I thought I would be the one that came up with the names. He called me one day when he was driving home, and he had seen the name Holland, but it was spelled Hollyn.
Yeah, something like that.
I was like, I really love that name. It was a strong name. But you have to understand, when you have the last name Buffalo, that's a really challenging last name to pair a first name with, because you don't want it to be like, Annie Buffalo, like hoop skirt and like riding on a wagon. Holland is not unusual, but it's not common.
Yeah.
And Stone is the same. And actually, they're both kind of last names, right? Which Disney character describes both of your personalities the best?
I want to be Ursula. Give me that voice. When the kids throw tantrums, how do you handle that situation?
Good question, because it happens often. We try to talk to them and get on their level. We're teaching right now in our house small problems and big problems, and really registering like, is this a small problem or is it a big problem? Because usually it's a small problem being blown out of proportion.
Yep.
That's been helpful. What is your height and eye color?
Green is my height.
I have like hazel eyes, so sometimes they look brown, sometimes they look green. And I am 6'4.5",
and I'm 6 foot. This person says, "Why the hell didn't you take my last name?" Oh, was that me? Oh my God.
The reason why I have not taken the Buffalo name is I don't really know why. I think when we got married, we didn't really see the point. But after having kids, that's when we started deciding like what last name the kids would take. And we went with Buffalo just because Buffalo, first of all, is way cooler than Smith, right? And Smith is, I come from a broken family, so really the only Smiths that are in my family are me and my brother. Where Burton, he is very close to his family and the Buffalo name and the heritage there. So recently our son asked me why my last name wasn't Buffalo. And I asked him if he wanted me to change my name to Buffalo. And he said, yes, I want us all to be twins. And that was really sweet. So, but that's like number 75 on my priority list right now.
7,500 probably.
Yeah. Why are your ears so red? I don't know why they're so red. How did you two start the whole social media job?
It was organic. It kind of just fell into place, really. We didn't set out to do this, honestly.
Yeah, there was a business plan.
Right, that's right. And we, just like any proud parent, we just started posting pictures of our family, our kids, and it just grew from there. And I think that's just us being a proud parent.
Yeah, we're honored that we've been able to work with so many companies and brands that are truly household brand names that want to celebrate families like ours. We think that's a huge step forward and stride for the LGBTQ community.
Absolutely.
And so, we're honored that we've been able to do that. And it's also allowed freedom for us to be home with our kids more. Do you guys ever have some alone time? Not enough.
Yeah. I think Dustin added this one in here because it says, who makes the best food at home? And he knows the answer is he knows the answer is him.
I mean,
and he just wants.
I don't even know if it's that I'm a good cook. I think it's just better than scrambled eggs.
No,
because
I
that's
also
what-
make cereal.
We would eat scrambled eggs for every meal if it was up to Burton.
I also make cereal. A mean bowl of Captain Crunch. It's all about the right ratio.
What is your weight?
Oh my stars. I don't know, 250. 350. Nah, I'm a lean 175.
Yeah, and I think I'm like 225.
Ish.
Big boy. Did you ever take a break or spend time apart in the beginning of your relationship?
No, not from a relationship standpoint. We were not separated or apart from that perspective, right? So we were physically apart because I used to work on the road, and so the first 2-3 years of our relationship, maybe 2 years, I was working as a consultant, so I was flying to my client site every Monday and flying back on those Fridays. And so Dustin would be alone during the week.
Yeah, which were really amazing, by the way. I got to watch everything I wanted to watch.
Are the women role models for the kids?
Well, we have lots of them. Our Nana and Mimi, which is my mom and his mom. Our kids have a nanny who is female, who is very important in our lives, who helps us during the week.
Kinsey, who you guys have seen.
Mackenzie, we have Mackenzie, we have friends. Lots and lots of females. I almost feel like they have more female influences in their lives than male.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big misconception when watching our stuff. People think it's just men all around them all the time, and that's not necessarily
This is true.
So, what is happening on the farm?
Lots
of nothing.
We are doing our due diligence right now.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening in the moment.
Yes.
There's a lot of legwork that happens under the covers to make sure that we can build what we want to build.
Yeah.
And that's the stage that we're at right now.
And especially because our farm wasn't an existing farm, so it wasn't active, right?
Yep.
We have to build all of the infrastructure on this property. So that's dealing with architects, the city, civil engineers, all of those things. And so we are in the middle of all of that right now, which we're starting to make leadway on.
Yeah.
But soon to come though.
Yeah.
Are you planning to sell your home in the future and live full time on your property?
Yes.
Yeah. There's a lot of questions that are asking how old we are. Now, I think we all know how old Burton is because of our last video, the big 40. I am 41. I'll be 42 in September.
Yes.
Favorite adult beverage?
Margarita.
Or bourbon. That's true. I like bourbon.
What is your favorite activity to do as a family?
Anything that involves outdoors.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hiking, camping, winter sports. We need to take the kids skiing and snowboarding.
I know.
They've never been. Let's do it.
We're doing that this year. We deal with online bullying.
You mean them old trolls that scoot around on the page? Honestly, trolls will be trolls, so it's called block and delete.
Yeah. We actually don't get a lot of hate.
That's true.
In comparison to the love that we get. And that's really shocking, to be honest with you, because we do put ourselves out there. But we tend to just ignore them. We don't play into this whole battling of fighting. We just block, delete. If it's, aggressive, then we report.
Yep.
But it's so seldom that we have to do that.
True.
Yeah.
Your Instagram account maintained by you, how do you guys manage timing and activities?
Yes, the answer is yes. We manage our own Instagrams and our YouTube. There's no one doing that for us. Well, I don't know how we do it all. We basically are just documenting our day-to-day routines, and so we just kind of share that on our social media platforms. Our voice, it's our thoughts, it's everything that we would do. We wouldn't have or trust anyone else doing that for us. Do you have any advice for future gay fathers?
Yes, we actually, keep in mind it's our own perspective, but we have a video that we took last year and we posted it. It's called Our Surrogacy Story. So skip back a few months and find that.
Also, a lot of people want to know how we met, and that is also on our anniversary video. So look back then too, and we'll tell you all about that. Would you consider having more kids? I personally think you guys would be happier with more kids. Are we not happy?
I think we're very happy, but I think we have a perfect mix right now. We have a boy and a girl, twins. It's just, I think we're happy where we are. And plus, the farm is our new baby.
Yeah, it's true.
What's your favorite getaway spot in North Carolina?
I would have to say the mountains. Both Burton and I love the mountains, and so we got married in Asheville. We got engaged in Asheville. We discovered the Highlands this last year, and we fell in love with it. But that's usually the place that we run away to, is the mountains.
I could not disagree. All right, can you speak another language?
No.
No.
You guys work out?
Yes. Do you lift, bro? But seriously, yes, we both do. We both work out. We both give each other space and time to go do that because we think it's healthy for both of us to have that personal time to do it.
We don't do it as often as we did before kids.
Yeah, that's true.
But we do work out weekly.
Yeah. And sometimes we try to work out together.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Which is also healthy.
Yeah.
What do you do for work?
So I do hair and makeup as my trade, right? So I own a salon. I've actually recently stepped away from the salon to put more focus on the farm, but I still do a lot of education. I work for a brand called Virtue. It's a hair care brand that I'm absolutely obsessed with, and I do the shopping channel for them, and I'll do photo shoots, hair and makeup for them. So I get my fix that way, but I'm not in the salon day to day. And Burton works for IBM, and I have literally no idea what he does. Every time he tells me what he does, my eyes glaze over.
That's probably true.
Yeah. So what do you do?
I do geeky nerd stuff. But it's fun. I enjoy it. He has no clue.
What is the secret that you both stay so young even at 40? Well, God bless you for saying that. Right now, it's a giant ring light.
This is true. You need to get you a giant ring light. So,
there's a lot of personal questions on here, and we are not answering those because they're personal.
Yes.
Do you guys still love each other even if you're fat?
Probably inevitable.
I know.
It happens.
I think we'll both balance each other out that way.
That's right. So, but the answer is yes, of course. I didn't marry him for his body, even though he's so handsome. I married him for his heart.
Do you guys face homophobia often?
Not really, but we do face ignorance all the time. People asking if we're babysitting for our wives while they're at home. Or are we brothers? Those types of questions.
Yeah.
How do you and Burton balance time both as husbands and fathers?
Good, really, really good question. I think that is one of the hardest things as a parent and as a spouse is really balancing and managing your time. But it doesn't just stop there. It's trying to find the balance of your personal time, your career, your spouse, and your children. And that's really hard because you want to be present for all of those things all the time, and it's nearly impossible. And a lot of times what we let go first is ourselves. We're so worried about the kids and taking care of the kids that we start letting go the things that are important to you, like your own mental health of working out and taking care of yourself, and ignoring your spouse. And so you have to find the balance, and it's something that you have to remind yourself daily, to be honest with you. It's not this perfect routine that just works all the time. It really is something that you have to work on day to day. Thank you guys for all the questions that you asked us. And if we didn't get around to answering your questions, we're sorry. We got to go put our kids to bed now.
Yeah, just drop your questions in the comments below and we'll try to get to those too.
Yeah, we can answer it this way.
Yeah.
And as always, thank you so much for the love and support that you show Burton and I and our kids. And make sure you like and subscribe.
And have a good night.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.